The modern kitchen is having a bit of an identity crisis, but, in a good way.
Right.
It's not just a place to cook anymore. It's the absolute design centerpiece of the whole home.
It's a huge material challenge, though. A really huge
Yeah,
one.
because it has to look effortlessly sharp, perfectly integrated,
Yeah.
while also handling, heat, steam, all the daily wear and tear.
Exactly. When you go for that true modular design, you're asking for two things that often fight each other. Visual perfection, that flawless, seamless look, and just absolute long-term durability.
You really can't have one without the other.
No, you can't.
And if you're like the listener who sent us this research, you've probably noticed those clean lines and are wondering, what's the secret? What's the material doing all the heavy lifting, making sure everything stays perfectly aligned without cracking or bowing? Okay, let's unpack this.
Our mission today is a deep dive into Aluminium Kitchen Profiles. These little components have, sort of quietly, become the hallmark of elegance, strength, and real innovation in high-end interiors.
So what's the goal for the listener?
We need to pull out the key insights on why aluminum has just, well, completely redefined the standard for modular kitchens, how it's making them smarter, way more durable, and just visually stunning.
Okay, so before we jump into the why, we should probably nail down the what. When we say profile, we're not talking about like big sheets of siding or some kind of thin veneer. What are we actually looking at here?
That's a crucial point. A profile is an extruded aluminum section. And that word extrusion is everything.
Right.
It means the raw aluminum is pushed through a specially shaped die. This creates these really complex, incredibly precise cross-sections. They're highly engineered shapes, often with multiple chambers inside, designed to support kitchen elements.
So they're both the structural backbone and the aesthetic detail.
Exactly. Both. They provide that structural integrity for modular parts and also that minimal, clean look that modern design demands.
So these extruded shapes are basically the hidden infrastructure. They're the frame, the track, the edge detail, the real backbone ensuring that clean, contemporary look.
That's it. They're essential everywhere. You'll find them in cabinet door frames, those handle profiles that are integrated right in, the skirting at the base.
That crucial part at the bottom.
Yes. And even the internal structures of shutters and tall units. There would keep everything in perfect alignment, giving you those sleek lines that define quality craftsmanship.
The whole style meets strength idea is fascinating here because aluminum is just so lightweight. We always hear that, lightweight yet robust. But how important is that in a kitchen?
Oh, it's absolutely vital. Manufacturers don't just pick it for the look. These profiles are engineered specifically to manage heat, to resist moisture, and to handle constant stress.
Things that would destroy other materials.
Right, things that plague wood, or even of a simple plastic like PVC. This is what makes aluminum the superior long-term choice. It's pure engineering.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. This side-by-side comparison is what really makes the case for aluminum's dominance. Let's start with the classic, the traditional heavyweight champion,
Right.
wood.
Okay, well, the contrast is, it's most striking when you look at how it reacts to the environment.
Meaning the kitchen itself.
Yes, wood is organic, it's porous. So when you expose it to the temperature swings in the kitchen steam from a pot, heat from the oven, it absorbs that moisture. And critically, it expands and it contracts.
And that leads to warping, right, misaligned doors.
Exactly. Warping, cracking at the joints, doors that don't close properly, all of it.
And aluminum just doesn't do that.
It just doesn't. It has a much, much lower coefficient of thermal expansion.
Hmm.
And because it's non-porous, it's completely unaffected by humidity, steam, spills.
So a cabinet door will hang exactly the same on day one as it does 5 years later.
No matter where you live. Desert climate, tropical zone, doesn't matter. It holds its dimension.
And that stability must translate directly into maintenance. Or, I guess, lack of maintenance.
Absolutely. Think about the life cycle. Wood needs constant work sealing, polishing, worrying about termites. Aluminum's corrosion-free. You just wipe it down.
So the long-term cost of ownership drops to basically zero.
Exactly. And then there's the sustainability angle, which is huge in modern design.
Right. Wood comes from logging, but aluminum is almost infinitely recyclable.
It is 100% recyclable.
Yeah.
And recycling it takes dramatically less energy than making new aluminum from ore. So it's an incredibly eco-friendly alternative to cabinetry that drives deforestation.
Okay, so wood has its issues. But let's move to another contender, another metal, steel. Steel is famous for strength, so why would we go for aluminum here?
The biggest difference really comes down to weight and application. Aluminium is about one-third the density of steel.
Which doesn't sound like a lot until you scale it up.
Right, multiply that across an entire kitchen's worth of cabinetry, and you're saving hundreds of pounds of structural load.
Which isn't just easier for the installer, it changes the architectural needs, right? Less load means you don't need such heavy-duty wall supports.
Precisely. And lighter profiles reduce stress on all the hardware. The hinges, the drawer runners, the anchors. It prevents that long-term sag you can get with heavier steel parts. You get better longevity.
And aesthetically, I always think of steel as having a very industrial look, but aluminum feels sleeker.
It does. Aluminium gives you more aesthetic flexibility. It's easier to shape with extrusion, and its surface takes specialized finishes just beautifully. It's hard to get steel to have that smooth, non-reflective finish that minimalism requires.
And what about rust, the final piece of the steel puzzle?
Well, we all know steel rusts, especially in a humid kitchen, unless it's heavily treated. But aluminium does something amazing. It naturally forms a protective layer of aluminum oxide when it's exposed to air.
It protects itself?
It protects itself. It's a tough, inherent barrier that stops any further corrosion. It's just naturally reliable in the damp space.
Okay, last one. Let's look at the budget option. PVC. This is where the structural integrity of aluminum must really shine.
Oh, absolutely. Think about a heavy pantry door or a wide drawer you use every day. PVC can deform, it can soften under heat, and it eventually fails under heavy loads. Aluminum just maintains its integrity. The rigidity is on another level.
You avoid that scary moment where you open a cabinet full of cans and the whole thing sort of groans.
Right. But visually, the difference is even bigger. Aluminium offers this premium look that PVC just can't touch. And that comes down to the finishing process. Anodization or powder coating.
Can you just quickly break those down for us? What do those mean in practice?
Sure. Powder coating is basically a dry paint that's cured with heat. It gives you a really durable, colorful finish. Anodization, though, is an electrochemical process.
Okay.
It thickens the aluminum's natural oxide layer, making the surface incredibly hard, scratch-resistant, and the color won't fade.
So you get all these different finishes, matte, brushed, glossy.
A true premium metallic sheen that PVC could never replicate. And when it comes to longevity, there's no contest. Aluminum just outlasts it, hands down.
So if we connect all this to the bigger picture, these material advantages, they translate directly into real long-term benefits for the homeowner. We're past just aesthetics now.
We're into practical daily resilience.
And that resilience to moisture and heat is the real heart of it. Kitchens are just constantly exposed to steam, temperature changes, and aluminum is totally unaffected.
That's why it's become the gold standard, especially in humid or tropical places where wood or particle board just fails so quickly. And like you said, those finishes anodization, they're not just for color. They add serious protection against scratches and chemicals.
And what about hygiene? That's mission critical in a kitchen.
It's another huge win for aluminium. Its surface is non-porous and smooth, so there's nowhere for dust or grease or bacteria to build up.
Unlike the grain in wood.
Exactly. Nothing gets trapped.
And cleaning is a non-issue.
A total non-issue.
Yeah.
A wipe with a damp cloth and it looks new. And because the profiles are made with such precision, there are fewer gaps and crevices in the first place. Fewer places for grime to hide means a cleaner kitchen.
And we keep circling back to sustainability. The fact that this is a high-performance material that's also 100% recyclable without losing quality, that says a lot.
It's a closed-loop material. The industry is investing heavily in green production, using recycled sources, minimizing waste. It lets you choose a premium, elegant product without that environmental guilt.
The versatility is key here. Let's look at the specific types of profiles that bring this all together. What are the main tools in the toolkit?
Okay, let's start with the most obvious one for modern design, the handle profiles.
Right, this is what gives you that clean, handleless look. The handle is built right into the edge of the door.
Exactly. They're engineered for both aesthetics and ergonomics. You get a comfortable grip, but the face of the cabinet stays completely streamlined. And because they're integrated, they're so easy to clean. No gunk building up around a knob.
Nice. Okay, next up, the shutter and frame profiles, the heavy lifters.
These form the structural skeleton of the whole cabinet. They guarantee the rigidity you need for, say, a tall pantry unit or wide drawers. They ensure that perfect, millimeter-precise alignment, even when it's full of heavy stuff.
And the beauty of these frames is the compatibility, right? You can pair them with wood, glass, acrylic, whatever panel you want.
Absolutely. The profile is the constant, reliable part. Then you have the finishing details, like skirting and edge profiles.
So for anyone listening, Skirting is like the baseboard, that line along the floor where the cabinet meets the tile.
Precisely. And these profiles aren't just for looks. They act as a barrier. They seal off gaps and stop water from spills or mopping from seeping under the cabinets.
It's a small detail that prevents huge problems like mold or swelling down the line.
It's vital for long-term craftsmanship. It's the definition of hidden functionality.
And finally, glass door and partition profiles. This is all about light and openness.
Right. These are the profiles that elegantly frame glass for display cabinets or partitions. They balance beauty with practicality. They securely mount tempered or frosted glass to give you that ultra-modern, light-enhancing look.
Which is perfect for smaller spaces where you want to maximize that feeling of openness.
Yes, exactly. You get visual depth without sacrificing any security.
What's so fascinating is how precision engineering transforms this raw material. And it all comes back to that word you used earlier, extrusion.
It's all about the manufacturing process. This isn't just a basic shaping technique, it's high-tech. Manufacturers use advanced CAD design and incredibly complex steel dies.
And what does that tech let them do that older methods couldn't?
It allows for unbelievable complexity and control. By forcing the aluminum through these dies, they can create multi-chambered profiles, sections with internal ribs or hollows.
Which maximizes the strength to weight ratio.
It does, and it also allows for integrated features. They can build in channels specifically designed to hide wiring for LED lights or to house soft closing mechanisms.
Wow, so the profile stops being a simple component and becomes a system component.
That's a great way to put it. The extrusion process guarantees a uniform finish, durability, and perfect design uniformity across every single piece. Every joint fits perfectly because they are dimensionally identical.
And all this engineering opens the door to massive customization. They're not just making standard parts.
Not at all. We're seeing bespoke designs all the time now. Customized shapes, sizes, finishes that align with a specific interior concept. Profiles made for deep, heavy-duty drawers or with integrated finger pulls or unique lighting channels. You can optimize even the most awkward kitchen layout.
So aluminum profiles really do feel like the future of modern kitchen design. They've managed to combine elegance, strength, and sustainability all into one high-performance solution.
They really have.
They enhance the look while ensuring that rock-solid, reliable structure that modern homes just demand.
And the key, as we've seen, is that engineering precision. And that actually raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about. We learned that this precision ensures perfect alignment, minimal gaps, and long-term stability.
Which all means minimal maintenance.
Right. So think about how that level of exact fitting transforms your daily life in a kitchen. It removes all those little irritations like sticky drawers or warped doors. My question is this: how much of what we call luxury in a space like a kitchen is actually just the unseen result of extreme high tolerance precision? That's something to mull over the next time you open a cabinet.